Yo, Steven.
Hey.
Welcome to Real Talk.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So, tell me about your DePIN thesis as an investor for the next year and next 5 years.
You want me to talk about it,
Yeah.
or you can start?
You can start.
Hey, thanks for having me. I think DePIN is something that we start from, and I don't think we're going to end up with, just the concept of DePIN. But instead, I think for me, the vision, the real, really the thesis for us is the future of work. I kind of feel like, in Bitcoin, it's a highly financialized world. So the biggest whales, they have like thousands or even tens of thousands of Bitcoins. While it's the newcomers, they can't even afford a single piece of 0.1 Bitcoin is actually a lot of money for a lot of newcomers. We need to find ways for newcomers to onboard Web3 and really participate into this revolution. So a great way to onboard them is to try to create jobs for them. And where do these jobs come from? It really, kind of have different solutions. And for us, I think DePIN actually shows one of the possible solutions. I mean, you don't have to really have a PhD degree. You don't have to be the smartest trader on chain. What you can do is you can join the network and provide any type of work or provide any deployment of hardwares, maintaining a part of the piece of the network, and you can earn from that. So to us, really about the future of work and how can we bring more people into Web3, offering them jobs, make them stay, make them happy, and grow this entire world bigger. Yeah.
So you talk about the future of work, right? There's an element of passive income here. There's also an element that's almost communist, right? Where people have a share in the corporations, right?
Yeah.
Can you talk more about what you mean by future of work and what that actually looks like?
I think for future of work, there are three pillars. The first of all is people are going to have more access to capital, right? So in the past, you only work for salary, for a fixed income kind of payment. But in the crypto network, you're actually making more capital gains, meaning that you can actually benefit from the capital growth of a certain network or piece of company, right? I think that is becoming more and more common. The second thing is that it's no more businesses that matters. It's how to design the game. A fair yet interesting and profitable game for people, and even the newcomers and the OGs. They kind of having the same benefit. They can compete on the same ground. That is something fair, more fairly launched. The third pillar I think is really about how do we really work better with AI, and probably not only using AI as tooling, but what we produce is part of what fuels AI and probably get paid by AI. We're seeing that in a lot of crypto networks. For example, Bitensor, you are getting paid by this network, which is building the greater AI or it's becoming the greater AI itself. It's really about these three pillars that I think how we see through the lenses to understand the future of work.
So what does that look like for just a regular person? Try to give me a specific example of what the future of work looks like, let's say 10 years from now, in your vision, if it's maximally successful.
Sure, yeah. I talked to this guy from our event, actually. He's something 35-year-old, lives in California, and he's a die-hard community member of multiple DePIN projects. He has 5 macro camera in his car, the dash cam in his car.
He's also, the Soviet man of
yeah,
DePIN.
he's doing this the superhero, he's from head to toe, he plays with Demo, and he's part of the GeoNet, all of his life and work is about how to be part of these crypto networks at the same time. And you can moonlight in different jobs in different networks at the same time without having the kind of knowledge about mathematics or being so smart. I don't think he has that kind of educational degree, but he's making good money. I think that is not actually the future of work. I think that is work 2 weeks ago.
I want to add
it's possible not so futuristic, but I think the future is going to be more advanced. It's more interesting, and probably in different ways we can never imagine.
I want to add on to Yale's future of work point. I recently watched an interview for Steve Jobs in 30 years ago, 1990 something. He's talking about computer, new technology. He said every time on the new technology innovation, there must be new stuff, like new kind of things coming out. Like, but people usually at the beginning of the time they'll try to use the new technology to fix the old problems. He's giving an example when we have television, we have like live streaming. At the beginning, 5 years, what people are doing is they put the radio guys together and they're sitting like face to face talking and they're filming it. No, this is the beginning of when television are events, right? Like same, I think in the future of work, a blockchain. Right now, we're trying to like proving use like blockchain to fix like some existing problems in the real world, right? Prove the coverage, telecom, a lot of things. But I believe in the future there must be new problems like we're using like DePIN or whatever technologies like to solve, and people working for it, like it's a new job, like it's future of work. I think that's the definition of future of work. It must be new problems.
Wow. So to me, DePIN is something like Airbnb and Uber. To me, DePIN is the true iteration of the sharing economy, because DePIN allows us to take our physical infrastructure, our property essentially, and share it. Sharing is caring. But the more you share, the more you earn. It's crazy. And so the assumption for Airbnb was, and every startup has an assumption, would people rent out their secondary spaces? Would people be down to rent those places? And the answer was yes, resoundingly. Now, I don't know if people want to plug in DePIN devices. I don't know if my grandma would adopt any of the things we saw at IoTeX Real World, but we can hope, right? We can hope. So I wonder for you guys, what are the closest to heart DePIN use cases that you would use, or you would tell your mom, your dad, like, this is really cool, why not try it? Just like I told my parents or my grandparents, Ubers are really cool. I know you don't like tech, but just Uber is really important.
Yeah.
Please use Uber. I can call it for you. I can pay for you. It's secure. They have ratings, right? So what's the DePIN version of that?
If we consider Bitcoin, like minings, are one of the DePIN catalog. Like 5-6 years ago, or maybe longer time, I suggest everyone like near me, like you should buy like those machines from Bitman, order them, put it in your garage, and try to mine Bitcoins. That's back to 2015, 16 time. Like people like think I'm crazy, right? What are you doing with this box? Like, I think that's a tipping point for me. I'll tell everybody to try to buy those like miners, like mining machines from Bitman. But right now, for like the new wave of DePIN, I'm still trying new stuff, like driving demo. I'm trying like some the watches, Solana phones, but it's not there like yet.
Yeah, I think that's a I don't know billion, but at least $1 million question for a lot of us. I think there are two phases of DePIN right now. As for the adoption, the first phase really comes from DePIN for crypto natives, and the second phase comes from like DePIN for massive public.
Yeah, true.
I don't think we are in the phase 2 yet. There are some use cases, but to be honest, I haven't seen like the real application, the killer, come into play yet. I'm sure it's coming in 1 to 2 years, and I think the actual the benefit or the value of DePIN for crypto native is actually becoming more and more addressed by a lot of things that we're seeing today. I always talk about in the public. I always talk about how do we run Ethereum validators in our home devices. For example, you can host a home node, or like there are teams working on like putting Ethereum node in ARM device, meaning that run it in your smartwatch, anything like that. If you're in crypto already and you have some amount of Ethereum and other POS chains assets, you might as well in 1 to 2 years want to run your home node and put your money in your own device instead of trust Lido or trust any other custodian exchanges. You might want to do that. I foresee this to happen in 1 to 2 years. And for the massive population, massive public to really adopt DePIN use cases, I think we're probably going to take longer.
Waiting for the killing.
Yeah, they need to get into crypto first. They really need to get the concept of, okay, I'm doing this because I'm part of the crypto network, and that makes sense. We really have to have them adopt this concept first. So that's
Yeah, you make such a good point, right? We need to get it right for the crypto audience first.
yeah,
Because if it doesn't work for them, it's not going to work for the mass adoption.
yeah,
Totally.
Right.
yeah.
So, final question for you guys. Looking forward to the next year. What categories are you most excited about? Where are you deploying capital? What's your shorter term thesis?
Mm-hmm. You want to start first?
Yeah, as a fund, we're exciting about like a lot of DePIN projects and also AI plus DePIN projects. And one of my like most important job this year is we will try to put everything together into an index fund that tracing different DePIN projects, and it's easier for retail investor to get in DePINs. Right now, it's people harding like to find exchanges because a lot of projects are not listing on centralized exchange. They're on DEX, or even they're like, you only can mine them. So what Future Money Group as an institution or as a venture company, like a venture capital, we're doing is we try to make it easier for people to get in DePIN tokens, providing liquidities.
Yeah, for I'll explain more about like more high level, strategical level. For us, our investments really like the methodology is really like a T-shape. So there's a horizontal plane, and there's a vertical direction that we deep dive into. For the vertical wise, that means we're going to deploy across the capital stack. We have the DePIN serve started with IoTeX and ForesiGhtX, meaning that we're helping the startups. Maybe they only have 1 or 2 guys, 2 to 3 guys. Maybe they have a brilliant idea. They have a demo. Okay, never mind. Come here. You talk about the idea. We can probably fund you. We help you build a better audience. Test your product out. We deploy in the very early, the seed phase of these projects, and also we try to do more pre-A, Series A, venture investment for the growing stage or growth stage DePIN projects. And for those ones who already have tokens, we have this DePIN index. So we collect and we build the portfolio of what we think are the best or most promising DePIN tokens, and we probably holding them up to 3 to 5 years. We're only going for the moon, going for the moonshot, and we can by having this portfolio, we can really understand what our team's working on. How are they changing or pivoting their ideas. How do they grow this from just an idea to something like a product, even to like an ecosystem. I think IoTeX is one of the assets that we are extremely bullish about, and we think it's a very good example of how do you grow from a product idea to like a platform to a layer 1 to an even bigger system. That is how we deploy vertically. Horizontally, we are expanding more into DePIN plus AI, DePIN plus consumer. Really, I think these are the 2 directions that have either more tech, more like tech community or tech users, audience, or getting into the average shows, like common people can join the DePIN world. So that's a vertical thesis.
Yo, Steven, thanks so much for your time.
Thank you.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you guys.
Yeah, enjoy Denver.